Right. I'd like to start off stream by just reminding everyone that jury nullification does exist. No particular reason, just jury nullification does in fact exist.
During my practice, many patients would tell me secrets that no one...
Yeah, gonna do game thing first, and then story. The story should be mostly voiced this time. Won't have to talk a whole lot. Wait, 20 bowls? Gonna stall.
Heard that story? Welcome to sail with us! I'm Barbara,
Nice.
an editor at
Don't. Hi. Hi, I'm here.
It's my pleasure to meet you. This is where... I'm Barbara, an editor at
If I lose the 50-50, I'm burning down an orphanage. Well,
What is this place?
there goes the orphans. We keep going. Easy game. Easy game. There she is.
Now, should I put the playhouse near those books?
Is the orphanage saved? No, it's too late.
More ghosts? On my skin?
First. That'd be the second worst thing to happen to those orphans. I can just... How many of those do I even need? A lot. I can just do this. I'm gonna get Tuesday too. I2, and then start story. So that I can actually use her.
I'm ready for now.
A safe distance.
It's okay.
It's,
By the way, sending down
it's not
unbreakable.
that much. I've had worse years.
And
Zima
What's your-
is a bullion. Distance once.
I actually haven't gotten sick this year, like, at all. Or at least, like, noticeably sick.
I'm so sorry.
A safe
You're awake.
distance.
Your family asked me to get here. Oh, my apologies. I'm so sorry. I will take you back.
Gonna jinx it. There's like 1 month left. It'll be fine.
That was a flight!
And that's a lot. Uh, do I need 15? I'm gonna be irresponsible. want to wait for that. Hubris is your downfall. You'll be fine. You just won't go outside at all for the next month.
Oh, this sensation. It reminds me of the day I walked out of that red door.
Yeah, that's all I'm gonna do. That'll be plenty. Guess I need more of these. I'm just gonna be irresponsible again. Okay, I'm not getting more of those. Take my meds now, good. Gonna have that for now.
Damn it all.
Are you all right? Please help me. There's a motel close by.
A motel?
Tuesday's motel. Can I help you, miss? Who are you?
You're in deep now, ain't ya? The name's Argus. Just call me Merc.
When was that array drawn?
It'd be less than 24 hours ago.
I didn't do this.
Gunpowder in his fingers. But this ain't no ordinary pistol. You're in for a lick of trouble, that's for sure. Take me to his room. What are we after, boss?
Firstly,
It's fine.
I'd like to know what happened to her. Second, whether the Order of Enlightenment has been here. Why did a Xeno officer come to this place? This motel?
Those calls are meant for the dead. They say the deepest despair comes from hesitation. It won't fool me.
Can it really be that simple?
Been waiting for this for so long. And then straight into the main story. You shouldn't have to talk a whole lot here. Should at least be mostly voiced. Trail of footprints. Rain-soaked soil, shallow footprints. Mercenary in a wide-brimmed hat kneels on one knee, her left eye glowing brightly.
10.6 inches long.
Soil beneath the footprint is uneven. One side presses deeper into the ground.
Signs of limping.
Wide stride, heavy indentations, a slight drag.
Male.
Heavy pressure on the forefoot, lighter on the heel, deep scrapes at the front, fewer at the back.
Around 20 years old.
Light on its feet, uneven pressure on the forefoot.
Lightweight.
She scratches her scalp with the barrel of her shotgun. The further she goes, the more irregular the footprints become, the more clues emerge.
More sets of footprints here.
There's a rustling in the glass nearby, along with the faint sound of conversation.
This is where the materials for the revered one are? There isn't even a single trace of human activity here, let alone a market. I guess the only possible explanation is we're here for these plants, right?
Of course not, you idiot.
That's too bad. I'm great at harvesting plants. I'm a pro, see? Check out these calluses. Although my mom would probably disagree. Do you have any idea what these materials look like? It must be important, so we better handle them with care. Don't want to risk mistaking them for weeds, you know? I
Was
hope
here
they're
for a
easy enough to
moment.
find. With my leg messed up like this, I can hardly handle any delicate work.
That's him. The one with the limp.
Sorry about this, man.
Distant sound of a gun being cocked.
But at least you'll see your mom soon. Up there in heaven.
What?
Skill issue. Mercenary decisively pulls the trigger of her shotgun. The bullet grazes the assailant's cheek.
Who's there?
Our rooms are always open for new friends. Activated. This way, please. Arcane Click. Child. You're waking. Would you care to lie down? It's for your safety. Off my
Maybe
heel.
this is all gonna be really easy.
Oh, please. I know how to use it.
We
Target
can just follow
confirmed.
these. Yeah, easy game.
Come back. I need your feedback on our session.
What are you waiting for? Get your ass out of here.
His trembling hands betray his fear and panic.
Ah, you got a couple questions for this one too, huh? Well, first come, first served. I'm afraid you're gonna have to get in line.
She steps on the man's chest and presses the barrel of her shotgun against his throat.
Alright, here's how we're gonna do this. I ask, you answer. If you lie, I'll blow your jaw off. Have you ever met a girl named Kayla?
Kayla?
Let's try that again. A girl, about 5'3", chestnut hair, emerald green eyes, speaks like a Texan. Have you seen her? Yes or no?
Man shakes his head in terror.
No?
She smirks.
Then why's her hair clip in your pocket?
Presses down harder, jamming the shotgun into his throat.
I remember. There's a girl, 5'3", chestnut hair. She's always carrying a basket. Her name's Kayla, too. But her eyes ain't emerald green. They're...
His mouth opens helplessly as he desperately tries to remember the color of the girl's eyes. It's on the tip of his tongue, but he can't seem to spit it out. The crucial detail. Should remember, but now has forgotten.
Tell me how you got this hair clip. The more detailed, the better.
We just bumped into each other by chance. She dropped it on the road, and I thought my daughter would like it, so I...
Relieved to have moved on from the color, man blabbers on obediently. Fingers tighten on the trigger.
I'll give you one last chance. Where did you meet?
At a place called... Tuesday's Motel.
There you go. That wasn't so hard, was it?
She hefts the shotgun and knocks the man out with the butt.
Next time, just spit it out. Save us all some time.
Are you with the Foundation?
The Foundation?
Yeah. They hate the Foundation, you see. But you saved me. I need some help. My mom...
Mercenary cuts him off harshly.
I ain't never heard of no Foundation. And I don't give a you-know-what about what's going on between you and them. Got my own matters to deal with. I'll leave him with you. Keep the gun. You figure the rest out yourself.
Thin cloud obscures the setting sun, scattering its lights. She looks out into the horizon.
Now, where's this motel?
Youth follower points a trembling finger southward. Stars have started to appear in the sky. The red lowlands lie still, their furrows rising and falling gently.
Listen, you saved my life, so I owe you one. I have to warn you, that motel...
Save your breath. We're done here.
Wait!
Follower Hurley pulls out a few dollar bills from his pocket.
You're a mercenary, right? I can tell by your gear. I'm worried about my mother. If you see her on the road, please give me a call.
He hesitates for a moment between taking off a metal locket from around his neck.
Here's a photo of her.
Scenario opens the locket to reveal an elderly woman with a kind smile.
Got it.
Hands it back to the follower.
And here, my phone number.
Writes a series of numbers on a blank section of one big note.
And listen, be careful. Something ain't right about that motel.
All right.
Takes the money, slips the dollar bill with the thumb number into her pocket and turns away. Kidding me? Afternoon heat lingers on the highway. Mercenary makes her way back to their car, shotgun in hand. Comes to a sudden stop.
1 sheep, 2 sheep, 3 sheep.
Soft voice echoes from far. She notices a fluffy white figure circling around her car.
Is that a sheep?
Fluffy creature turns its head. Sheep-headed, human body arcanist.
2 sheep, 3 sheep. Funny how we hit the hay every night, just like kids hit the books every day. I'm Barbara. Nice to meet you.
Sheep-headed arcanist extends a hand, a gesture befitting an introduction. Doesn't get the expected response.
You're in my way, ma'am.
I've tried waving and shouting at the drivers, but none of them stopped for me. Thankfully, pacing around the road seems to have done the trick.
Listen, if you need a ride, here's my answer.
He gets in, closes the door, and looks at the hitchhiker through the open window.
No.
My driver left me here, probably because of that scraping sound on the car roof. That scared him half to death. Everything happens for a reason. Destiny's brought me to the right place, I think.
I mean, this game has interesting ages. There's like a 50% chance she's like 13 or 50% chance she's like 20.
Could you give
No
me a
in
ride?
between.
I'm on a business trip, so money is no object.
It ain't about money.
Oh, a disappointing answer. But I understand. One must be vigilant. If you don't mind me asking, miss, what happened to your eyes? They're bloodshot. It's best not to drive with your eyes in such a state. You have a much higher chance of getting into an accident.
That ain't none of your concern, Miss Sheep. See ya.
Mercenary closes the window, finally blocking out the endless chatter. She turns the ignition key. The radio bursts to life, blaring disco music inside the vehicle. She shuts it off and stomps on the gas. Engine roars as the speedometer climbs higher and higher. Fields of either side of the road, shepherds are herding their sheep. Unwelcome memories begin to surface. Land at the foot of the hills covered in Indian grass, now turning a sunset red as autumn approaches.
Argus, come over here. This little lamb almost didn't make it out of her mama's belly.
Girl cuts the lamb umbilical cord with a pair of scissors, while the ewe lies in the hay, baaing weakly.
Don't say that. No living thing is born to suffer. Look, it's already standing.
Ewe licks off the afterbirth as the lamb struggles to stand on its shaky legs.
What an adorable little thing.
She grins as she wipes the blood and fluid from her hands onto her apron. Oh, welcome
It's
stream.
getting
Hope you're doing
dark.
well.
We should take them back. Ain't no way they'll make it through the night out here with their mama hurt. And you can't see a thing at night.
Hear your
You're
dog in the
right.
background? Because my dog
Let's go.
loves to scream at nothing. The wind sweeps the grass and rustles into the distance.
Screw it.
Ricketts grits her teeth and yanks the steering wheel, stretching her car into a U-turn. Slams on the gas, rushing back to where the sheep-like arcanist was. But when she arrives, there's nothing but a few cotton plants swaying in the breeze.
I should have minded my own damn business.
Turns the wheel again harder this time. Tires screech as she makes another U-turn and drives off. In the distance, the sun dips behind the hills. Vision is fading, so switches on the headlights. Expected, the light is too dim to make up for night blindness. She can hardly see a thing. A hard brake. Fortunately, it's too late to stop the crash. Wait. Headlights the entire time. Let's find out. Find you. There you are. How old are you?
It's you.
There is no answer. I have no clue. It does not say. 5 miles back home on the highway without headlights? That is incredibly reckless.
Before we left, TTT was telling me an urban myth about Texas.
Huh, sounds about right. What's the story about?
The story starts off in the typical way. A man was driving down a long Texas road when he saw a girl hitchhiking. He offered her a lift and a piece of chocolate. The man dropped the girl off at a cemetery and drove on. It was late at night, so he was hoping to reach his destination quickly. Soon after, he saw a funeral procession going down the road. The photo of the dead seemed familiar. Curiosity came over him, and he followed them to the cemetery. Look, a piece of chocolate.
Sudden beep interrupt your story.
Give me a moment. I have to take this. It's from the Foundation.
Voice on the other side is as calm as ever.
Timekeeper, this is an emergency notice. The Xeno base in Texas, USA has conducted a large-scale evacuation. Xeno has not yet responded regarding their actions. Should you encounter any difficulties on your trip there, please contact headquarters immediately.
Understood.
Despite these developments, your mission remains the same. Contact U2 editor Barbara, who was last seen near Route 77 collecting information, and find Erd's current whereabouts through her. Since U2 editors use a special communication channel, her current location is still unknown. We'll be in touch as soon as there's any new information. Any questions, Timekeeper?
No. Thank you.
All the best, then.
Communication ends. Lilia looks thoughtful.
What did they say?
There was a mass evacuation at the Xeno base in Texas.
What's that all about? They called me 2 days ago, saying that Red 38 was still under routine maintenance in their armament factory. But now, all of a sudden, they're gone? How am I going to get my Red 38 back now, huh? If they hadn't taken her away for inspection, we wouldn't be traveling in this little car, wasting all day on the road.
The operator only mentioned an evacuation. It's still possible that some of them have stayed behind to keep the factory running. If you're worried about Red 38, we can take a detour there. It's in Chisos. The town isn't far from here.
Lilia squirms in her
Hey,
seat.
mister, can you take us to the cheeses? It's just a little detour.
Taps his fingers rhythmically on the steering wheel.
Girls, I don't know why y'all are here. But whether it's just for a bit of adventure or for business, I gotta tell you, something ain't right in that town. We've all heard the stories. Scratching sounds on car roofs, animal bits stuck to car grills, and those people in black robes running around. It's all too weird for me.
Give the ghost stories a rest. Look, if you're trying to negotiate a higher price, at least be a little smart about it, instead of trying to spook us with a few tall tales.
You got me all wrong. Who in their right mind would throw away the cash in their hand unless they were forced to?
Is Lilia Russian?
Benjamins
Yes,
are good and
she
all,
is.
but they ain't worth my life. Ain't no way I'm taking you there, no matter how much cash you throw at me.
Why? Were you the driver in that ghost story?
No.
Have you seen these things happen yourself? Come on! It's just a little detour. It won't even cost you much fuel.
Clenches his hand tightly around the steering wheel, knuckles turning white from the pressure.
Sir?
You see that? It's fogging up.
Thick, milky fog envelops the car. Driver pulls over.
Ain't no way this fog is natural. We shouldn't go any further. I'm stopping right here.
Ugh, fine. I'll drive. Swap seats with me.
No! Nobody get out of the car.
Why?
Are you kidding me? You haven't heard the stories, have you? Then what in the hell are you even doing here? When the fog rolls in on Route 77, you should always stay in the car. All kinds of terrible things hide in the fog. Some folks say they saw giant white crocodiles. Others say they saw dead bodies hanging from trees. Ain't nobody leaving this car. Not until the fog's gone.
Reach. Interrupted by a drawn-out scraping sound on the roof of the car.
Is that?
Oh, come on! Don't tell me you're scared of this stuff.
No response.
He's fainted.
That was fast. Strange atmosphere spreads inside the car as they sit and listen to the scraping on the roof. This is nothing compared to what happened at Green Lake campsite. Finally, the scraping stops, and a few black and white figures dart past the windows.
I see. This looks like the work of a mumus. It's a critter commonly seen in the southern US. When they're frightened, they produce a fog-like gas from their respiratory trumpet.
So that sound is just some critter scratching along on the roof.
Lilia opens the door.
At this rate, I won't get my Red 38 back for another month. Well, I always wanted to try this. Help me move this guy. And you'll have to give up your passenger seat, Capitan.
I know what you're thinking, but do you have a US driver's license? Or any driver's license at all, for that matter?
What do I need that for? I can fly a broom and even do all those maneuvers. That takes more skill than driving a car, don't you think? Ha! Compared to flying, driving a car is child's play. Just look at the number of drivers compared to pilots in the world.
Following the pilot's plan, they
Now,
adjust positions.
where do we start?
Glances at the dashboard in front of her. Doesn't look like the interior. A minor issue. Thinks back to her training.
Start both engines. Keep the tachometer at 70%. Here's the nose wheel
It's bound to
steering, the
go
position
well.
indicator for the joystick, the throttle lever. And these are for the flaps. No, that's not right. We're in a car, not a flying machine.
Rear seat passenger quietly fastens her seatbelt.
Let's just get out, Capitan. Can't wrap my head around this hunk of metal.
Good decision.
She does all that to stall
If
the
these
car.
critters are responsible for this fog, our
Probably the
solution
dead
is
ends.
simple. We drive them away.
Cannot
Let's
imagine
go.
that this goes well. Opens the door. Thick fog outside rushes in like a tide. Baby broadcaster. They get out of the car and step onto the asphalt road. A clearly perspective moisture fills the air. Mist is pervasive, even filling their ears and nostrils. Faint breeze runs along their face, like a spider's web blowing in the wind. A flash of insight comes to her from the distance, unreachable place.
What is it, Capitan?
Someone's casting arcane skills nearby.
The crying of a baby throbs faintly in the ears like an insect bite.
Do you hear that? Sounds like a crying baby.
Better go take a look.
Grass is rustling as if something is moving nearby.
You know, a Texan soldier once told me about a notorious bandit back in his hometown many years ago. He would record the sound of a crying baby and play it outside the homes of single mothers. Then he'd wait, ready to attack them if any of them opened their door to look for the baby.
Yes, but the actions of one man don't negate all other calls for help.
Of course not. It's just a reminder to be ready for anything. We're close now. Prepare yourself.
Got it.
The grass sways and faint crying stops. Fog grows thicker.
Vertin, over here!
Broken flashlight lies on the ground. The damage looks recent. Not far away, they spot a black shoe and the pale ankle disappearing under purple fabric.
Hello. Please help.
A frail woman tightly cradles a swaddled infant, her body curled up and trembling with fear.
Are you alright, miss?
Maid turns her head, her face is pale, as if all the blood has been drained from it.
Finally. Someone. Please help me. These critters won't let me leave. Every time I try, they knock me back. My baby's starving and crying. If you hadn't come, I really don't know what I would have done.
Critter makes a weary sound.
You mean these Moomus? I've never read about them attacking anyone in any reports. In fact, they're known for being rather timid.
Reports don't necessarily capture the whole story, Capitan. Look at them. They don't seem very timid to me.
Mammoth before them opens its mouth wide, revealing its sharp white teeth.
Careful, it's going to attack!
Program activated.
Just wait for this.
My tongue this way, please.
Hold on. Psychiatrist at work.
A real troublemaker of a guest, aren't you?
Under attack.
Can't really do that to a poor little maid.
Easy game.
Perfect service, just like always.
Creatures scatter, the grass rustling as they flee.
They always run off so quickly.
Woman pulls herself off the ground and brushes the dirt from her skirt.
Are you alright?
Did you get a good look at them? Those slippery little things look like seals, don't they? They always jump on passing cars and rub their flat hind legs on the roof, making that coarse, scraping sound. Amazing creatures, aren't they? These little fearmongers.
Wind sweeps across the plains, spearing the fog. Lynn's face flushes red as she sways slightly in the breeze.
But they are, in fact, easily frightened. The slightest movement could startle them. That's why it's foggy all year around here. Many of my guests have trouble finding their way to the motel. Are you ladies looking to check in at the motel?
Motel?
Yes, Tuesday's Motel. If you're looking for a comfortable bed for the night, it's the place to go. Anyway, thank you so much for saving us. I owe you one.
That's the swaddled baby.
Excuse me. Are you the maid at Tuesday's Motel?
Oh, I almost forgot to introduce myself. Folks around here call me Tuesday. Hey, Tuesday, over here. Hey, Tuesday, breakfast for one, please. Tuesday, Tuesday. Oh, ain't we all like horses? And our names like the reins pulling at us.
He looks at the two of them over.
Do you need a place to stay, ladies?
Thank you for your kindness. But our driver's still in the car. We can't just leave him there.
And our luggage and travel documents are still in the trunk, along with our cash too. Let's head back now that the fog has cleared.
Shall I lead the way?
You?
She looks the maid up and down suspiciously.
What were you doing out here alone anyway?
I was waiting for a guest. It's been 2 hours and they still haven't shown up. I thought, rather than waiting here, I would pay you back for helping me. I assume you parked near Route 77? Let me take you there.
The setting sun scatters its light, illuminating the dogwood and cotton plain in the field.
That coward.
Car is gone. Nothing remains but a few scattered pieces of luggage.
He just threw out our luggage and took off. How pathetic.
At least he didn't take the luggage with him.
Are you going to thumb a ride with all these bags? I'd advise against that, especially here. You've seen those movies, right? Bad things can happen on the road out here. There are a lot of smugglers around these days.
A clear concern in her voice.
Did you say your motel wasn't far from here?
Yes, come this way. There's an easy trail that won't dirty your shoes. Don't worry, it ain't far.
Walk isn't far indeed. Before long, they're standing in front of the motel.
When night falls and the signs are lit, a weary traveler may find a comfortable place to rest here.
Under the shade of the neem trees, the wooden porch awaits its owner, darkening in the fading sunlight.
Welcome to Tuesday's Motel, ladies.
Medal of Honor. Crucify me for the shitty level I'm making. Maid stands behind the front desk of the motel lobby, checking in her new guest.
That'll be $25 altogether. Will that be on card or cash?
Cash, please.
Maid holds up the passport, comparing the information on it.
Hey, do you know if there's an armament factory in the town nearby?
An armament factory?
She studies Lilia's outfit and smiles as she responds.
Yes, there is one. Would you like a map?
She opens a drawer, pulls out a map, and hands it to her.
If you plan on visiting, make sure to return early. It can be a difficult walk in the dark.
Lilia quickly finds her town labeled. Notice this on the map.
Doesn't seem far from here.
It's about an hour's walk. I'd recommend leaving tomorrow morning. It's getting late. It's best not to be outside at night.
Thanks, but I'm going right now.
She moves with swift purpose to the front door.
Nothing can go wrong as long as I have Red 38 by my side.
Call me if anything happens.
Like what? I can handle myself.
A rush of wind enters as Lily opens the door and makes her way out of the motel.
Don't worry. She'll check in later.
Here's your passport.
Have you been working here since the opening of this place?
Yes.
How's business?
Maid laughs softly.
Not too great. It's the off-season now. You don't seem too good at small talk. Is there anything you'd like to ask?
I do have one question. Have you seen a sheep-headed arcanist around?
She shows the information provided by the Foundation.
Oh, that's not a face you'd easily forget. And why are you looking for this arcanist?
World peace.
Two. I think I've heard of that before. That's a magazine specially made for arcanists, right? Well, I'm sorry to say that I've never met an arcanist with the head of a sheep. I can help you ask around if you...
Suddenly, the ceiling starts to tremble. A surge of arcane energy comes from above.
What?
Sounds like something's going wrong upstairs. Sorry about that. Let's head up. Your room's on the second floor too. Then we can take a look at what's happened.
Sounds good.
Just so you know, the guests upstairs are a little...
Maid hesitates.
Well, you can stay behind me if you like.
How about it?
A voice echoes from down the hall.
It's just a simple room swap. I'm sure it won't be no trouble at all for a generous lady such as yourself.
That's the guest staying in room 210. She arrived here the night before yesterday. She was injured when she came in. Seems it didn't take her long to recover. But I don't quite understand why she insists on swapping rooms with the other guests. If she does the same to you, please call the front desk. I'll do my best to help.
Why didn't you offer her your help? She needs it more than I do.
Oh, things don't work like that here, miss. Everyone has their own secrets. With the variety of guests we get, it's best to keep your mouth shut, or else somebody will shut it for you. Although there are fewer bounty hunters around these days, my advice is to stay quiet if you don't want any trouble. Especially if you're dealing with an armed mercenary. You know how things like that play out down here in Texas, don't you?
Understood.
Voice down the hall continues.
Or do you have something else in mind?
Is your room bigger and better than this one?
More lively voice chimes in.
That's the guest of room 218 speaking. She too is a young lady like you.
You remember all the guests and their room numbers?
You'd remember her too if she'd been staying in your motel for a month. Miss Kimberly's been here for just over that.
The maid quickly moves toward the source of the voice. The man before her looks haggard, his back slightly hunched, his eyes yellowed and cloudy.
Mirror. The mirror.
Mr. Stefan, are you coming out for some fresh air?
Everyone in the hallway turns to look at the maid.
Maid, you're just in time. I'd like to swap rooms with this Kimberly lady.
If Miss Kimberly and yourself have come to an agreement, then I see no reason why you can't do so.
The man makes a dry, rasping sound, his vocal cords trembling unnaturally, like he's speaking for the first time in his life.
Timekeeper?
Have we met?
Didn't she crash here? Probably just walked. On seemed to trigger something. Expression awaits. Welcome, Stream Nick, over on Twitch. Hope you're doing well.
Vertin?
That's me. Do I know you, sir?
I saw you. In the newspaper. The newspaper, that vacuum bomb. Did you see the explosion? You must have, because you made it happen. You dropped the bomb, you murderers. But have any of you been brought to justice? No, not a single one. Instead, you were congratulated and given medals. Revolting. Disgusting. Why were you rewarded for murder?
Blabbers on, working himself into a frenzy.
Meanwhile, I'm stuck in this hotel. Lord, is this what my life has come to?
But we've never met before. I don't even know your name, sir.
Of course you don't know me, but I'll get the truth out. I'll expose your crimes to the public.
Man's deranged rant continues, his knuckles turning white as he clenches his fists.
That rotting woman in the tub, that sheep-headed monster, and that one inside the mirror.
Sheep-headed, you say? Wait, sir.
Shh, don't startle him. He's totally crazy.
I should have known it was all fake! If they're giving out medals for killing people, then I should have one too. That shiny medal. It should be mine!
He bites down hard on his lip, his cloudy eyes starting straight ahead. He steps forward.
Stay back!
But the man has already lunged at them.
is it?
A bloody handprint on broken glass.
Don't
Classic.
stare at it for too long.
At your service.
Charging.
A simple
Loading.
arcane trick.
Faraday's miracle.
Bang, bang.
Aim and shoot.
Easy game.
Come back. I need your feedback on our session.
A single blow from the butt of the mercenary's shotgun knocks the man out. The maid breathes heavily, her face slightly flushed.
I'm ever so sorry about all this, Miss Furton. You've only just arrived, and you've had to deal with so much trouble already.
Oh, it's no trouble. In fact, I'm glad that we came here. That man said he'd seen a sheep-headed monster.
Oh, that. He's quite delusional. Surely you won't take the ramblings of a madman for a fact, will you? He's been peculiar since the day he checked in. He spasms and twitches and pays little attention to his surroundings. It's best not to have a face-to-face conversation with him. Who knows what he'll do next?
Hey, you, maid. Enough chatter. You have a job to do.
The girl impatiently interrupts their conversation.
I've accepted the offer this, Miss Argus made. What's next? What should we do?
Apologies, Miss Kimberly. I'll be with you in a moment. Could the both of you wait for me at the front desk? The rooms need a tidy up before they can be occupied. You may take a rest on the couch in the lobby while you wait. Miss Furton, I'm afraid I'll have to leave you here. Do you mind going to your room alone?
Not at all.
Suitcase sways with her steps as she heads to her room. Once again, the air pulses with the flow of arcane energy, compelling her to look back.
Ma'am, you can just leave the room as it is. If you clean it, it'll interfere with my work. You might want to check on that Kimberly lady. She looks starved. She wouldn't stop shaking.
A cluster of emerald light sparks in the mercenary's left eye, scattering like a bird unfluttering its brilliant tail feathers.
Oh, Miss Kimberly, would you like something to eat?
I'm fine.
Guest's face visibly sours.
I agreed to change rooms, didn't I? Why are you two still mocking me?
Turns her attention to the mercenary.
You're not exactly a pleasant person to do business with. You know that, right?
Well, darn. What got you so riled up? It's too late now. A deal's a deal. You can backpedal if you like, but it ain't wise to mess with the girl packing heat down here in Texas. Later, Miss Kimberly.
Mercenary's eye gleams as she turns the lock and enters her
arcane skill.
hard-won room. Sudden message. In most cases, code is not suitable for human communication. Door creaks as she opens it and her nostrils are hit with a distant scent of floor wax. She flips the switch and after a brief hum of electricity, the room lights up.
That man, Stefan, he clearly knows something. But he appears to be rather mentally unstable, and he's hostile towards me. Madam Z cautioned me on this. I must be extra careful when dealing with people like him. Should make sure I have a backup plan in place before proceeding. Still no sign of Lilia.
Tries contacting her on her communication device, but the line is busy. Tries it again, but still no luck.
Did she get in trouble?
Suddenly, the phone on the nightstand rings. It vibrates violently.
Hello? Hello?
Series of strange tapping sounds come from the other end of the line.
Is that Miss Tuesday?
Short and long sounds are distant, but they form a certain rhythm.
Oh, I think I know what this is. That's an R. E. S. P. O.
Phone is abruptly hung up, but it doesn't matter. Thoughts are complete.
Respond.
Message conveyed through Morse code. A means of communication that sacrifices efficiency for safety. Commonly used in intelligence, but rarely for anything else. Why would there be such a message in a motel? Telephone rings again. Picks it up without hesitation.
Hello? Is this Miss Burton?
Miss Tuesday?
Yes. I have an announcement for you. There's a service outage going on in the area. Some critters nibbled through the cables of a nearby signal tower. But all our internal phone lines are still running well.
I see.
It should be repaired soon since we share the signal tower with that armament factory. I apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. I'll bring you dinner up later. It's on the house.
May I ask what's on the menu?
We have one free meal a day, a ham sandwich, and a glass of milk. If you'd like to have something else, we've also got roast chicken and hummus and a few simple Mexican dishes.
Thank you. I'll ask my friend what she thinks when she comes back.
Oh, and the kitchen closes at 9. Please take note of that. Is there anything else I can help you with?
I'm good for now. Thank you.
She hangs up. She feels a light touch on her neck, like a feather brushing against her skin. Accidentally touches her neck. Spider's web. Follows it up to the corner of the ceiling.
Spiders?
8:11. I mean, yesterday I ended up eating at like 2 a.m., but spider falls on the surface of the wooden cabinet, moves its slender legs, crawling from one shadowy spot to another. As it moves, sparks ignite in the air. In the glow of an arcane skill, you can see everything clearly.
Is that an arcane array? The pattern's familiar. I've seen it somewhere before.
The surface of the bedside cabinet has a rough engraving on it. She traces the marking with her fingers, trying to discern the texture and direction. Ray burns her fingertips. Momentary pain memories are awakened.
Yes, I've definitely seen this before. When I was in school.
This is an extremely dangerous array.
one that you are prohibited from using. It can go easily beyond the caster's control. We study Arcanum and tame it for our use. But once its power surpasses our limits, it is highly likely that it will lead to our own destruction. I need you all to remember that. It'll be in your next exam.
Students put their heads down. Sound of scribbling files. The next classroom.
Verton, are you listening? The instructor just said it'd be in the next exam. If you like, you can check my notes.
Pop student nervously clutches her notebook in her hands.
Oh, thank you. My mind was somewhere else. Why have they made it a key point of the exam if we can't even use it? I see. They didn't teach us about arrays so that we could use them. They wanted us to be able to identify them so that we could avoid danger.
She looks at the window. It's getting dark.
It's highly likely to cause an explosion or other severe consequences if I act too hastily.
The ray glows faintly.
Lilia still hasn't come back. I must find someone else to help.
What qualities should an ally have? Decisiveness, efficiency, some needs are offense or self-defense. A sudden knock on the door interrupts her thoughts. Opens the door to find a familiar face.
Hey, we met back in the hallway, remember? Now it's your turn.
What exactly do you want from me, miss?
Mercenary raises an eyebrow.
Well, it's simple. The person I'm looking for is right here in this motel, and I'm scouring every corner of it to find her. Look, Missy, I don't want to make things hard for you. Name your price, and we can talk.
If this person's gone to such great lengths to avoid you, perhaps she doesn't want to see you at all.
Rude?
Well, that ain't my concern, is it? A job's a job. Whether it's catching a cheating spouse, tracking someone down, or delivering a letter, it don't make no difference to me.
Very well. But you'll have to look elsewhere, I'm afraid. There's no one but me in this room.
Look, I know what I'm doing. How about you turn around and take a good look around the room?
So you can knock me out as soon as I turn my back to you.
Mercenary gives a hearty laugh.
Missy, if that were my plan, I wouldn't have spent all this time talking to you. I much prefer to do my business pleasantly. I don't like to see things get too ugly.
I see.
Fine. If you don't want to turn around, I'll tell you what I see.
Mercenary squints, some emerald light shining in her eye.
You've burned your finger there. You should be more careful.
This is...
Don't look like a fire burn to me. What was it? Some arcane energy? Looks like this room has a couple secrets, too.
Mercenary shifts her gaze to the room further away.
So you touched an arcane array, and its power burned you. How's that for a guess? Pretty close, huh?
She examines the mercenary's burning emerald eye.
This is my arcane skill. It allows me to see the traces that people leave behind. That's how I get these jobs, you see. Ain't nothing happening that don't leave a trace. If there ain't no trace, then it never happened. I came to your room to look for evidence, not a person.
I see. You want to know whether the person you're tracking has been here, right?
Now we're talking.
Before I let you investigate the room, I have one more question. You take jobs from people nearby, don't you?
Of course. It's obvious, ain't it?
She doesn't get the response she wants. This familiar silence. Apparent mercenary smells an imminent deal. It's a mixture of caution and trust, anticipation and doubt.
You seem more intrigued by my profession than my peculiar request. You're in trouble, ain't you? Then let me formally introduce myself. The name's Argus. I'm 26, and I have extensive experience as a mercenary.
Let's make a deal. You may search this room all you like, and I won't say a thing. But in return, I'd like your assistance in my own investigation.
How, exactly?
Can you tell when that array on the cupboard was drawn?
Chris slings her shotgun over her shoulder and crouches down beside the nightstand. After a brief examination, she gives her assessment.
Less than 24 hours ago.
In other words, this was left behind by the last guest who stayed in this room.
Argus shakes her head.
Can't say for certain.
Glass bottles. Let me clean this first. Don't forget this handy weapon in a brawl. Empty factory is cold and damp.
Let's see what you've got in there for me.
She wanders the factory, eventually spotting a large crate covered in postage stamps in the receiving room. Crate is nailed tightly shut as it squints, having only the moonlight to help her read the words on the box. Red 38.
Hey, buddy!
She squats down and inspects the crate. After tapping it a few times, she frowns.
They just left her in a wooden box. What kind of safekeeping is this? Anyway, I don't have much time. I'll settle that with them later.
She grabs the crate and tries to lift it. It doesn't budge. It's bound by arcanum.
Alright, at least they bothered to put a gravity ritual on it.
Light footsteps echo behind her.
Are you also preparing to evacuate?
Lilia turns around. A slender girl stands before her, unbasking in her arms.
Perfect timing. Are you in charge here?
Girl looks up and down before giving a sweet smile.
No, I'm not in charge of anything, Lieutenant. I'm just passing through. I'm Kayla, by the way. I heard some rattling here and thought some of those kids might have come back to steal weapons again. These things aren't cheap, and the kids know it.
Kids stealing from the military? Huh, that's a new one. Where are the guards here?
Oh, didn't they tell you, Lieutenant?
Girl sounds surprised.
The army stationed here started evacuating a month ago. There aren't many of them around these days.
Evacuating?
Foundation's report was correct. Lilia senses impending danger.
Then where can I find the soldiers that are still here?
You're new in town, right? Did you see a bar on your way here? That's where the Xeno soldiers spend their nights drinking. You might want to check there first. That's probably where you'll find him.
Him? What does he look like?
Like every other Xeno soldier. They all look the same to me. You'll know them when you see them. But I have to tell you, the bar doesn't like outsiders. Have you heard of the Order of Enlightenment? It's an occult society. Very active these days. They were preaching in this town just a few days ago. Today is their day of prayer.
And, what does that have to do with me?
The bar you're going to is where they gather to pray. That's all I know. If you're going up there, please, be careful.
Huh, thanks.
Lilia turns and leaves. The girl watches her as she goes.
May the sufferer watch over you. Great sufferer, by your decree, the glory of former days shall grace our present path.
She whispers a prayer. She claps her hands together. The black facets of her ring shimmer.
Great sufferer, by your decree, the glory of former days shall grace our present path.
We dedicate our souls and minds to you. We seek the well-being of our people in your name.
A solemn atmosphere fills the bar. A small group has gathered in the dim lights. Some in black robes, others in everyday clothes. They lean on each other like brothers and sisters. The man leading the prayer raises a glass and gives a toast.
May the sufferer watch over you. Under their grace, may our cups overflow. To the sufferer!
To the sufferer!
The bar door flings open.
Huh? Odd time for a stranger to come.
The young pilot looks around.
No crashing the party, am I?
She heads straight to the bar where the shelves glitter with various bottles.
Napa Valley, Californian Red, Kentucky whiskey. Ha, there's a lot of good stuff here. One vodka, straight. The best you got.
It ain't business hours, lady.
She knows that sound. Someone's cocking gun just inches away from her.
Hey, all I did was ask for a drink. Is this how you treat your customers?
As I said, we ain't serving you.
Why? Don't you have vodka? Fine, I can settle for whiskey. Have to learn to take what we can get, eh?
You ain't getting that either.
Seriously? You don't have any whiskey?
She glances at the whiskey bottles lining the shelves.
I'm starting to understand why Zeno evacuated. What's the point of living in a town where there's no real liquor? Especially for those drunkards.
What's a Xeno lieutenant doing here anyway? No alcohol fuel in that warehouse of yours?
Patrons laugh.
Huh. You sure have some interesting drinking habits down here. But I'm curious. What did the sufferer promise you to make you all change your faith? I mean, that's quite an achievement, especially here in Texas.
Turns narrowly, avoiding a bullet. It whizzes past her hair.
Oh, so we're doing this now? Are we?
casual gunfight.
Program activated.
This way, please. Arcane click. Would you care to lie down?
At your service.
Probably not grabbing this again.
Charging. Loading. Charging. The light that illuminates all.
Yeah, easy game. There's 2 rounds.
This way, please.
Oh, a single arcane click.
A bloody handprint on broken glass.
Oh, don't stare at it for too long. Bang, bang.
No easy game.
A fair game.
Bottles crash to the floor, splashing alcohol all over the bar.
Look, I don't care what you're doing here. Just tell me where that Xena soldier went.
Well, technically it's not supposed to be another wave, but like reinforcements. Thing is, I just killed all of them in 1 round, so it doesn't really matter. She looks down at the bar, slumped over the counter.
What Xeno soldier?
Man strains to open his swollen eyes.
Don't play dumb with me.
That soldier. He's a complete idiot, that one. It's obvious that Xeno has abandoned him, but he insists that they left him here because they believe that only he could keep the warehouse safe. Why are you looking for him now, if you decided to ditch him in the first place?
Listen, I can tell you guys aren't the biggest fans of Xena, but that has nothing to do with me. I'm just here to get my stuff back.
It takes a labored breath.
Fine. If you insist on finding him, try your luck on the outskirts of town. He might be drinking there.
Thanks.
She steps over the unconscious man behind her and leaves the bar. Parchment. A magical medium upon which every sentence written speaks a profound truth.
We can't say for sure if this ritual was created by the last guest. Fact is, you can find all kinds of unusual markings in this motel. Most of them less than a month old. Very recent indeed. The maid said that there aren't many tourists these days, so my guess is that a group of skilled arcanists have left their work in every room. Based on the markings I've seen so far, there were about 3 to 5 people in this group.
And was there a sheep-headed arcanist among them?
Well, that I don't know. What I can say, though, is that there was a sheep living in here. I saw some hoof prints on the hallway floor. It looked like someone had stayed in this motel with a sheep. Sounds pretty odd, but I suppose it ain't too strange given the local farmland. But I'm sure this will catch your attention.
What?
We all know that sheep walk on 4 hooves. But the hoof prints I saw were different. They were small and delicate, and most importantly, followed the movement pattern of a human, judging by the trail. The owner of the hoof prints was about the size of a slender kid, maybe 5 feet tall.
This description exactly matches the Foundation's report.
That's it. That's the one I'm looking for.
Don't I know it? They can question my morals, but nobody can question my competence. So, may I enter your room now, Miss Verdon?
Please.
Now, let's start with this little thing. The carvings are new. No sign of woodworm damage or moisture absorption. These splinters along the edge are extremely sharp.
Dips her finger into dark red, crumbly residue.
Is this dried blood?
She rubs the granules between her fingers and thumb, reducing them to a fine powder.
Blood was used as the medium for this array. The circle isn't fully closed here, and the lines are a bit uneven. Whoever drew this doesn't seem to be an expert. You know how to deal with this, right?
All you have to do is ask, boss. You might be surprised.
We need to destroy it as quickly as possible. I think it's been left by a dangerous occult group.
Hold on.
Places a pillow over the wood and pulls the trigger. Through a faint gunshot, the lingering light goes out. Fresh blood oozes from the array, setting the faded carving.
Blood?
Mercenary, unfazed, dips her finger in the red wiglet and sniffs it.
Yep. The blood of an arcanist. So it can't be Kayla's.
Can you discern the owner's identity?
I ain't all-knowing. I can't identify people by their blood. No, I'll need more than just blood to find out who was here.
Fishes out a zesty sheepskin journal from the gap between the cabinet and the wall. She flips the pages.
We are the beginning and the original source of metals. Through us, the highest tincture of art is brewed. There is neither a spring nor water like mine. I heal and help both the rich and the poor. Yet I am full of hurtful poison. What the hell does that mean?
It's a quote from a text on alchemy.
All challenges will be resolved with the provision of sufficient and high-quality materials and the precise execution of the array. But where do we find these materials?
She continues to flick through the journal, releasing the accumulated alchemical residue on its pages into the air. On the last page, tortured words are scrawled on the paper. It looks like something a criminal would write in the final moments before their death sentence.
What was once sundered shall reunite.
Her nose burns as the barely visible sparks heat the air.
I've seen this handwriting before.
And here, my phone number.
He hands over a dollar bill with a string of numbers scrawled along the blank page. Mercenary pulls out the crumpled bill from her pocket, comparing the handwriting with what was in the journal.
Yep, this is definitely the same. That sound. It's a Flying Arrow M1903 pistol. Kimberly? What's wrong with her now? I better go check it out, boss. Something don't seem right. You coming? That Kimberly must have run into something.
Face reality. Going through all those Miranda rides before an interrogation? Man, we ain't got time for that. Skill issue. Thick carpet in the hallways, usually damp enough to dampen any sounds. No amount of soundproofing could stop the sound of a gunshot from echoing through the place. At its source, Stefan's limp, twitching body lies on the floor. There's a gaping hole in his head. She's trembling in fear.
Is he still alive?
No.
Just when I thought you couldn't get any dumber.
Is this a suicide? He pulled out the gun and shot himself in the head. His brain splattered on the walls and flowed onto the floor.
Very descriptive. Muttering is almost a confession. Gus kneels down to examine the body.
There's gunshot residue and powder burns near the wound. Gunpowder particles on his fingers. There's no doubt. He died from a gunshot wound. The bullet was fired from the pistol in his hand and went straight through his skull. But this ain't just any pistol. It's a Xeno pistol. You've got yourself in some serious trouble, Missy.
It wasn't me!
Her face still pale. She managed to stop her shaking.
I'm just an innocent, sad, terrified girl who just happened to pass by.
Well, Miss Innocent, Sad, and Terrified. If you want to prove your innocence, start by telling us what happened here. And mind you, I will call you out if you lie. The evidence here will tell me what's true and what ain't.
She points to her eye.
If you're so clever, then why are you asking me? Just figure it out yourself.
Gestation is weak. She quickly gives in.
All right, I'll tell you. This madman has been harassing me. Ever since I moved into this place, I'd often seen him pacing around in the hallway. Day and night, he'd stomp around out here. He didn't care if anyone else was trying to sleep. I thought he must have had a lot on his mind, like he was troubled or something. So I asked him what happened. His deep, sunken eyes were bloodshot. Every fiber of his being screamed that something was wrong with him. Sir, if you have any problems, there are many ways to solve them. But pacing in the hallway isn't one of them. Plus, it disrupts everyone's sleep. I swear I didn't say anything too harsh, but he was just downright rude.
Get the hell away! Get out of my face!
Excuse me! That's pretty rude, you know! I had no desire to argue with the madman. Thankfully, the maid intervened when she heard what was going on. I have no idea what she said to him, but eventually they came to terms. He stopped pacing the hallway from then on,
That was a relief. I'm sure the other guests would agree. That maid can vouch for what I've said. Ask her yourselves. Not long after, I found a letter from Stefan on the floor of my room. It had been slid under my door. In the letter, he apologized for his behavior. Should I make peace with him? I thought. As I wondered, I took a look through the peephole. It was strange. I couldn't see a thing. It was pitch black out there. Is it broken? I wondered. Before I could dwell on it too much, the phone rang. I was startled, but it was just the front desk calling.
Hello, Miss Kimberly.
Is it dinner time already?
No. Is there an issue between Mr. Stefan and yourself?
She seemed hesitant to speak.
I know it's not my place to ask, but the situation is a little concerning. Mr. Stefan is standing at your door, his face pressed up against it, so I just want to confirm that everything's all right between you two.
And that's what happened.
Calm down, miss. It's all over now. Do you still have that letter with you?
A look of disgust comes across Miss Kimberly's face as she gestures to the trash can
Hold
nearby.
on to that. I threw it out right away. It's somewhere in that bin.
Kiss quickly retrieves the crumpled piece of paper from the trash bin. She smooths it out on her palm and reads its contents.
Dear Ms. Kimberly, I've got a question already. How did he know your name? You didn't know each other well enough to have exchanged them, did you?
I'm the victim here, damn it! You can't interrogate me like this. But if you must know, maybe he heard it when my friend called me.
Your friend?
Why? What's so odd about that? A young girl like myself should never travel alone to places like this.
She continues in indignation.
I need someone to make my bed and prepare my clothes and, most importantly, I need to eat. I wouldn't even be here if I weren't looking for...
She gasps, covering her mouth with her hand. But Argus isn't listening. She continues to read the letter aloud.
I want to apologize for my behavior earlier in the hallway.
Looks like a perfectly normal letter to me. No hints that this is from a man on the verge of a mental breakdown.
If you won't take my word for it, go ahead and ask the maid. She was there. She can vouch for me.
Please, we weren't accusing you of anything.
Just lets out a laugh.
Though graphology has been criticized a lot these days, I gotta say, this looks more like a woman's handwriting to me.
So you mean Stefan was a woman?
Her aggression seems to dissipate as her eyes widen and her mouth drops.
You still with us, Missy? What I'm suggesting is that Mr. Stefan didn't write this letter, but a woman did. But that's just speculation. Chances are Mr. Stefan's handwriting was just a little feminine. I'll keep this letter for now. Back to my questions. If the story you told is true, then why are you at the scene of his death? Did you go looking for him, even after all the weird things he'd done?
I was hungry, okay? That's a good enough answer for you? I can't just starve myself.
Hungry? If I remember correctly, the motel offers room service. And you get 1 free meal a day, so even if you ain't got no money, you have enough food to get by.
What do you know?
He looks flustered.
I'm not eating one of those ham sandwiches.
Alright, so you've got some standards when it comes to food. Let's drop that. You were there when he fired the shot, right? What happened then? Take your time and think it through. There's no rush.
About 15 minutes ago, he rang my doorbell. I thought my friend had returned from town. She always brings something amazing with her, so I opened the door. The last thing I expected was to see Stefan standing there. Who'd have thought that he could get back on his feet so quickly after the beating he took? I was terrified when I saw him there. He towered over me, one hand on the doorframe and the other pushing against the door. I slammed the door shut. I thought he'd let go. But he didn't. The door closed on his fingers.
I understand now. I understand it all. You're with Zeno, aren't you?
His fingers were bent at a peculiar angle. It must have been painful, but he didn't seem to feel the pain at all. The fracturing of his fingers was no more painful than a mosquito bite to him.
You came to me and made me drop my guard so that one day you could turn me in for a bounty. But why me? Why are you doing this to me? It wasn't me who made the plan. It wasn't me who executed it. It wasn't me who pressed that damn button. All I did was expose their crime to the rest of the world. Tell me, why else would they want my head so desperately if they didn't believe they were guilty? In the meantime, the actual killers are treated as heroes. But I'm the hero. Me. But all my sorry ass gets is a lifetime of hiding out in some random motel in the middle of nowhere. This world is sick.
What the hell are you talking about?
Come on, drop the act. Right after you spoke to me, Vertin showed up at my door. Are you trying to tell me that that was just by chance?
Vertin? He totally ignored my question.
The world has fallen ill. I can see that now. The realm above truly does exist. How else would we have gotten the idea of a perfect heavenly realm? Obviously, it doesn't exist in this world.
I don't care. Even if that place does exist, it has nothing to do with you. Get out of the way. I'm closing the door.
But at least I get to decide when I step through that door, right?
I had no idea what he was talking about. And he didn't give me much chance to figure it out either.
I'm afraid your mission is doomed to fail, young lady.
In that moment, a smile of relief came over his face, and without a moment's hesitation, he pressed the pistol against his temple and pulled the trigger.
Bozo.
And you know the rest.
The approaching footsteps abruptly stop. They turn to the source. Maid stands before the group. showing just the right amount of surprise as her eyes fall upon the body.
What's going on in here?
This man killed himself.
Oh dear. There's blood everywhere. It'll be a lot of work to clean it all up, and with the weather being so hot, the room will soon start to smell. All the carpets have to go.
Said a long sigh, her tone twinged with annoyance.
Miss Tuesday, can I ask you a question?
Yes?
Have you ever had any guests who looked like or claimed themselves to be Manus Vindictae?
Manus Vindictae?
Face flushes as she smiles faintly.
I'm not entirely sure what you mean. Could you explain in more detail?
Most of them dress in blue and black. Some drool a fair bit, and most of them can't speak in full sentences. The most notable feature is that they all wear masks shaped like hands. Have you seen any before?
Masks shaped like hands?
Taps her fingers on her chin.
No, I've never had a guest who wore a hand-shaped mask. Never seen anyone in blue and black either. But if an organization was going to do something in secret, I don't think they'd be too public about it.
Hey, lady.
Argus doesn't hesitate to interrupt the conversation.
Take me to his room.
She points the barrel of her gun at Stefan's corpse.
Oh, it shouldn't be too hard for you to find the room yourself, right, Miss Argus? After all, that's how you make a living. But I can just tell it to you. It's 214. You must be curious about that room. I'm surprised. You've been in almost every room in the motel, and you've been here for 2 days. You're like a child in your curiosity. This place would be much safer if you were the sheriff here. Anyway, I hope you can find that girl soon.
Standing before the bloody corpse, she looks down and gently adjusts the baby in her arms. They have to be the last one for the day. You it tomorrow? Depending on how long it takes. Lighter silk.
Why do you want to go to Stefan's room exactly? Is it related to our investigation?
Well, of course, boss. I'm here looking for Kayla, just as you're looking for that sheep-headed...
She falls into an unusual silence.
What is it?
That arcanist you're looking for. Is her name Barbara?
You know her?
Yep, we met. On Route 77. I just got done asking 2 men about Kayla's whereabouts, and saw that it was getting dark. My sight ain't so good at night, and the nights are long these days. So I was in a bit of a hurry, hoping to get somewhere with proper lights as fast as I could. That's when I saw her, Barbara, all alone by the road. Some jerk of a driver dumped her there, and she asked me for a ride. I turned her down. Heck, I could hardly see.
Well, welcome back.
She'd have been better off waiting for the next driver than riding with a blind bat like me, you know?
Probably gonna end after this bit, though.
But as I drove away, I changed my mind. She was too young to be left out there all by herself. So I turned back to get her. But when I arrived, She was already gone. There was nothing but a trail of hoof prints in the dirt. When I got to the motel, I saw those hoof prints again. I gotta say, I was kinda relieved to see them. At least she made it here safely.
And is she still here?
Well, I've never seen any hoof prints leaving the motel. But that don't mean she's still here. You gotta be mindful of what your mind picks up and what might slip you by. It's easy to ignore other evidence when what you've seen already fits your hypothesis. That being said, it's still likely that she's somewhere in the motel.
All right. Then let's look for her.
It seems we're in agreement. To room 214.
202, 203.
He counts the doors as they walk down the hallway.
Hmm?
The corner of her eye, a flash of red catches her attention.
I've checked those too. Ain't much in them.
Argus, did you see a red door just now?
A red door?
Nothing. Must have been my imagination.
They approach the end of the hallway. They spot room 214. Doors slightly ajar, clearly Stefan in a hurry. They enter, the curtains pulled shut, blocking out almost all light. From outside, they're hit with stale, sour smell of blood and alcohol. The glow in Argus' eyes flickers with light and faulty circuits.
Are you alright? Can you still see?
Don't worry about it. Ain't the first time this has happened. This high issue runs in the family. It's the price we pay for having our arcane power.
Mercenary glances around the room, a slight frown on her face.
Now, what are we looking for, boss? People leave all kinds of evidence behind all the time. It'll be like wandering around in the woods without a compass if we don't know what we're looking for. So if you don't want to be inundated with meaningless clues, you need to give me some directions.
Alright. First, I'd like to know what happened to Barbara. Second,
Fleeting images surface in her mind.
whether Manus Vindictae has been here, or anyone from that Order of Enlightenment. And last, about Mr. Stefan. The pistol he used was a xeno-military weapon, and he seemed to know about my relation to the vacuum bomb operation. It's likely that he once held a high rank within the xeno-military. I want to know why he came to this motel, and what happened to make him lose his mind here.
Lose his mind here? What makes you think he wasn't crazy already?
Xeno pays much more attention to its soldiers' mental well-being than any conventional military organization. It's because quite a few of them are arcanists. They're both Xeno's strength and weakness. So I'm inclined to think Mr. Stefan developed these mental health issues after entering the motel.
Huh. Is that so? I gotta say, I don't know much about all this military institution stuff. Right, so here's the plan. First, locate Barbara. Second, look for any signs of Manus Vindictae or the Order of Enlightenment. And third, find out how poor old Stefan lost his marbles. And of course, I've got my own business to deal with. Tracking down Kayla.
Guards meticulously search the room.
Hey boss, I've got something.
Serious, small but clear traces imprinted in the dust.
These footprints are from a spider. Looks like the little guy went back and forth along here quite a few times. I know this might not seem pertinent to our investigation, but it is worth noting. You ever seen a spider make a phone call?
I'm afraid I'm not interested in the movements of spiders right now.
Kiss shrugs.
Come on, boss. Loosen up a little.
Sound of dripping water echoes nearby.
Do you hear that? Sounds like dripping water.
Every drip of water stain grows larger and larger on the wallpaper.
I'm sure it's just the motel plumbing.
But
Stain gradually takes the form of a hand. Its 5 fingers all clearly defined.
watch out!
Pulls itself from the wall and slams down. A baseball to fire alarm.
This way,
Archaic. Oh, don't stare at it for too long.
A real troublemaker of a guest, aren't you? You really do that.
Off my mirror.
Loading. Charging. Loading.
Yeah, that should kill. Easy game.
Come back. I need your feedback on our session. This place is definitely more than meets the eye.
I'm with you on that. There's just too much Arcanum-related weirdness going on here. Never seen so many arrays in a motel before.
But we've only found one.
In your room, yeah. But there are a load more. One room has them drawn from floor to ceiling. Looked like some kind of transformation array to me. I ain't no expert, so I can't say for sure.
What are they trying to do, I wonder?
Who knows?
Brings the conversation to a abrupt end and continues searching the conversation.
Oh,
Continues
boss.
searching the room.
You might be interested in this.
That I missed, by the way, some guy killed himself. Also, there's a cult. I think you were here for the cult. Here's under the bed.
It's another one. Just like the others.
Huge array lies beneath the bed, scattered with dark crystals. The design is familiar.
I've seen this before. It was also drawn in that parchment notebook. This is indeed a transformation array. But it's not in its full form.
They were trying something. Check it out.
She plucks a hair from the carpet.
This is hair from the mane of a howler lion. And there are some other materials around it too. Not exactly sure what they are though. They're too finely ground. But one thing's for sure. Someone held a ceremony here, and for some reason, it didn't work out for them.
This is important. The Foundation needs to know about this.
The air is silent.
Argus?
The mercenary doesn't respond. She's still staring at the strand of hair between her fingers. It's chestnut colored.
This is Kayla's hair. She was here, in this room, or at least someone who came into contact with her.
Phone rings, cutting her off. Yeah, that's gonna have to be the last one today. It's spooky time. Have to continue this tomorrow. I'll probably start stream early tomorrow, do like Minecraft after it's finished or something. It is time for me to end though. Finish that tomorrow. Thank you all for watching.